Are you going on Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas and you don't want to be lost day after day when you're on her? If so, then this video is for you. I'll take you to all the places that you'll spend most of your time so that you know your way around before you even board her. As always, if you want to skip ahead, there are chapters down below for all the different decks. Let's get going. I'll start this tour off on deck 4 in the Centrum. Then we'll move up to deck 5 both inside and outside on the Promenade. Then we'll move up to deck 6 and take a look at the different bars and restaurants. Then we'll head up to deck 11, also known as the pool deck. Then deck 12, the pool overlook. Then we'll go to deck 11 and 13 for the bow overlooks. Then deck 13, the aft climbing wall, and the midship lounges. Welcome to deck number 4, midships, and the Centrum. This is where you can find one of the entrances to the minstrel dining room, which is the main 2-deck dining room on Brilliance of the Seas. This deck is where you can find the shore excursion desk, which is where you can book, reschedule, cancel your shore excursions, as well as the guest services, which is open 24/7. Now we're turning into the lowest level of the Centrum. That is the R bar on the right hand side, and up ahead of us is the Centrum stage. This stage has performers all day long for the most part. And as you can see, the Centrum goes all the way up to deck number 11. And here's a closer look at the R bar. Welcome to deck number 5, midships. And here is the second story entrance to the minstrel dining room. Also on this deck, you can find Next Cruise, which is where you can book upcoming Royal Caribbean and celebrity cruises. Up ahead is Cafe Latitudes, which is Royal Caribbean's version of Starbucks. They actually serve Starbucks coffee and Starbucks style drinks. And up ahead is the entrance to one of the shops in the Shops of Centrum. Now, this is the walkthrough area that's open throughout the day, even if the shops aren't open. And as you can see, there are shops on both right and left sides, as well as this middle island area will be filled with merchandise when the shops are open. Up ahead is where you will find the photo gallery and shop. This is where you can buy GoPros, memory cards for your cameras. You can look at the photos that the ship photographers have taken of you and purchase those. And also in this area is the art gallery. And up ahead is the Pacifica Theater. This is the main theater on Brilliance of the Seas. This is where you will find outside entertainment that comes in, as well as the performers from Brilliance. And this is where you can find the forward bank of stairs. Now we're heading back to the Centrum. This right here is a lot of times the port shopping expert would be sitting there. Sometimes the art person would be sitting in that area. It's kind of a serve all sort of desk. And now we are heading outside on deck 5 to the promenade. The promenade is actually a walkway that goes all the way around the ship, with the exception of the bow. It does go around the bow, but you do have to go up a flight of stairs to do that. So if you have mobility issues and can't make it up a deck of stairs, then you will not be able to walk all the way around the entire ship on the promenade. And this is the stairs I was talking about, and it makes it all the way up to the helipad. By the way, this is an amazing spot to come when you're entering and leaving ports, especially on embarkation day. And there's the bridge. And that area of glass up there, we will be heading up there in a few minutes. Now let's work our way down the opposite side of the ship, the starboard side. And as you can see, once we're back down on deck 5, this goes all the way back to the aft of the ship and around. And this is a nice place to come, again, to watch sail away, but also to look out over the ocean behind the ship. And now we're heading back to where we came out. Welcome to Deck 6 Midships and the Centrum. Up ahead, you can find the entrance to the Schooner Bar, Chops, Giovanni's, and the Colony Club. And off on the left-hand side here is Vintages, but we'll come back to that in a second. The Schooner Bar is a very popular nautical-themed bar that also has a piano player at night, as well as other entertainers throughout the day. They typically do trivia in here also, and it can get quite crowded at night. This is where you can find the entrance to Chops Grill, which is up here on the right-hand side. Chops Grill is the steakhouse that they have on Brilliance of the Seas. Everything you could find in a steakhouse on land, you can pretty much find at Chops. As you can see, there's lots of glass looking out over the ocean in the schooner bar. Up ahead on the right is Giovanni's table, and in front of us is the Colony Club, but unfortunately, due to a lot of different events in there, I was not able to take any video of it. Giovanni's is a traditional Italian multi-course restaurant. Think Olive Garden. And this Giovanni's is one of our favorite Giovanni's. And again, up on the right, that is Vintages. And let's go around here and get a better view of it. Vintages is a wine and gin bar. So they have a whole bunch of different wines that you won't find anywhere else. And they have an extensive drink menu of gin style drinks. And also you can see over by the windows there are very high back chairs. That's where we spent most of our free time, and Sea Days was sitting there looking out over the ocean. Up ahead is the Casino Royale. This is the casino on Brilliance of the Seas. It has slot machines, roulette tables, craps, blackjack. Think Las Vegas, but in a smaller scale. They even have coin pushers, which we both thoroughly enjoy. And there's a bar here as well. Up ahead on the left is the King and Country Pub. King and Country Pub is a traditional English pub. They do have beer on tap, but normally 1 or 2 beers at most. When we were on Brilliance for this sailing, they only had Heineken on tap, and that's all they had. However, they do have an extensive selection of beer from around the world in bottles and cans. And here is another entrance, the Pacifica Theater, and up ahead is the cinema. Brilliance of the Seas is one of Royal Caribbean's ships that actually has a cinema on board. They show current, recent movies, and as you can see, it's fairly small, but they do have movie seats, and the sound isn't bad, and they run movies throughout the day. Here's another look at the pub. And in the pub, in addition to places to sit and hang out, they also have darts and sporting events on the televisions. All right, let's head back to the Centrum. And here are those coin pushers. Welcome to Deck 11 Midships, also known as the pool deck. Up ahead of us on the right hand side, this is the entrance to the Windjammer, which is the buffet on Brilliance of the Seas. And here's a look from the top floor of the Centrum. All right, let's head on outside. By the way, this is the smoking area on Brilliance. So if you smoke, this is the area that's set aside for smoking on the ship. And up ahead of us is the main pool. And in front of that is the pool bar. As you can see, there's tons and tons of seating all the way around the pool. And there are 2 hot tubs right there on the left as well. Here's a closer look at the pool bar. And there's life jackets available for people that have a hard time with swimming or for youngsters. And here we are entering the solarium. The solarium is an adult-only area on the ship, and it's also where you'll find the Park Cafe. The Park Cafe is included with your cruise fare, and you can find salads, sandwiches, slices of pizza, soup, basically finger sort of foods or snacky sort of meals. However, when we were on the ship, we did eat our lunch here several times. The solarium is completely enclosed. As you can see, it has a glass roof. Now that does slide back, but we have never been on the ship when it has actually opened. And this is the solarium pool. It's a very nice area. It looks like something out of Indiana Jones. There's a little bridge right there over it in front of the elephant. And there's another hot tub, as well as off to our left-hand side here is where you can find the solarium bar. Now, kids can walk through here, but they can't come in and sit down on one of the lounge chairs. This is an adult-only area on Brilliance. And as you can see, there's tons and tons of glass looking out over the ocean. Coming back out by the pool, here's another look at the pool, as well as the 2 hot tubs and shower facilities. Welcome to deck number 12, midships, also known as the pool overlook deck. Deck number 12, inside here you can find the loyalty desk. This is for people that have been on Royal Caribbean more than one time and have crown and anchor points. So you can come here and check your status, ask questions about the loyalty perks and benefits, and so on. And here is where you can find Adventure Ocean and all the other areas for the youngsters. And as you can see, there's chairs out here looking out over the ocean. And we're heading aft now because up ahead of us is where you can find the Adventure Beach, which is basically the area to bring kids so that they can get wet. This is a family area for kids and their parents. There's a fairly large water slide, and there's things that squirt water out, and a little pool for the kids. Up ahead is Azumi. Azumi is the Japanese style specialty dining restaurant. This is an extra fee, and there is no hibachi in here. It is just sit down dining. However, they have a full selection of sushi, sashimi, udon, tempura, appetizers, everything you could possibly want from a Japanese restaurant. Down below here is the open or the outdoor area for the Windjammer. Windjammer on this ship actually has an outdoor area that you can look out over the ocean. Now we're all the way in the back and we are heading forward on the port side. And right here is the entrance to the arcade. In here, there is classic video games, air hockey. There's even a claw machine and all sorts of other reflex sort of style machines. And this is the sports court. For shooting basketball, they sometimes have like soccer nets out to kick soccer balls around. They do pickleball out here. Basically anything that has balls that could go overboard other than mini golf are done in this area. Continuing to move forward, as you can see, there's tons and tons of chairs, and this is where you can look out over the pool and the hot tub and the Jumbotron television. Now, we're not going to continue down this side. We're going to move over to the other side because we're on the jogging track or walking track right now, and people tend to get upset if you walk the opposite direction from what you're supposed to. So we'll follow the rules and go the direction that we're supposed to. Now let's head up one deck to deck 13, and this is where you can look out over the bow of the boat. And it's a really nice place to go for sailways, especially because the glass is fairly low. It doesn't get up in front of you, and you can look out and you can take videos with your phone if you want to, or pictures, and there's not the tinted glass in front of you. All right, back down to deck 12, walking forward. And on deck 12, this is kind of a secret little area. There are two stairwells, one on both sides of the ship, that will take you down to deck 11. And deck 11, this is amazing for sailways because there's usually no one here at all. Typically, you'll have this entire area to yourself. As you can see, they kind of store the lounge chairs here. And yeah, but behind us that I didn't video because I didn't want to video people doing it is actually the gym, and there's windows looking out from there, so people are exercising, and I didn't want to swing around and video them while I was doing this. And to the left, that's the solarium. And that is the sky bar up there on top. The sky bar is basically the pool bar, but one deck higher. And finally, welcome to deck 13. And the aft section where you will find the rock climbing wall and an outdoor entrance to the Viking Crown Lounge. And I'll show you that in a second. And here is the bridge that connects the front and aft sections of deck 13. It goes out over Adventure Beach, the area for the kids to play in with their parents to get wet, as well as the sports court. And as you can see, it's a nice size slide for the kids to play on. And right in front of us is the mini golf course, the Fairways of Brilliance. It is a 9-hole golf course. However, if you're used to playing 9-hole mini golf, or 18-hole mini golf for that matter, on land, it's a little different. The putters are covered in rubber, and the balls, the golf balls, are not real golf balls. And because of that, it makes getting the ball in a hole a challenge. Now we're up on deck 13 midships, which is where you will find StarQuest and the Concierge Club, as well as the Crown Lounge. The Concierge Club is an area that's only available to suite guests. Up in front of us is the StarQuest nightclub and the Viking Crown Lounge. Now, the Viking Crown Lounge is open to everyone. This is an amazing area where you can look out over part of the ship and the ocean. We spend tons of time up here, again, on sea days, but specifically first thing in the morning, we come up, we'll get a coffee and come sit over here. And here is the Crown Lounge. This is the area for Diamond and up Crown and Anchor members. I'm normally not a fan of smaller ships, but Brilliance of the Seas really was amazing for its size. I would have no issue going back on her in the future. And if you liked this video, why don't you come along with us when we go on a Greek Isle cruise on Brilliance of the Seas. I'll put it right here. See you next time.